Twin Theory Podcast,
Episode 4. All right. Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back.
This is the Twin Theory Podcast, and this is episode 4.
Yes, episode 4.
Episode 4. So we hope you all have been having a fantastic November so far. A lot has happened since the last episode, definitely.
Yes.
We
have a new president-elect.
Yes.
And vice president-elect. Yes.
Yes. So lots happening over here in the U.S.
Yes.
And so we're prepping, though, for holiday season. We're just around the corner.
Right around the corner. I'm so ready.
Oh, man. Definitely just needing some time to spend some time with family or, just some days off. Just
get some good food.
Good food and just kind of reset. But anyway, we are on to a new episode. So we have a new topic. And so our topic today, or our episode, is entitled... What's the plan? What is the plan?
I don't know. What's the plan, Court?
I don't know. We about to try to figure it out today.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Then.
So, what is the plan? As we always discuss, me and Marissa talk all the time. Mm-hmm. And one thing we talked about recently is, what is the plan for 2021?
Yeah.
2020 was supposed to be our year.
Yeah.
Okay? 2020 was supposed to be our year. So many things were supposed to happen this year. Supposed to be going abroad.
Yep.
Supposed to be going on these nice, vacations and spending time with friends and going to music festivals. And 2020 was just supposed to be a whole lot, and then it did not happen.
No, it did not.
And so for a lot of people, including myself, and I think even, some friends and family, we kind of got to a point where we were like, what are we doing? Like, this is so far away from what we planned. Like, how do we even get back on? Like,
right.
pace? Like, what do we do? And so recently, me and Rissa talking about 2021. How do you plan for 2021 in the midst of a pandemic?
Right.
Especially with everything that we have experienced this year.
Month to month.
Every month is like, and what month will the Martians come?
Exactly.
Or the zombies or
just
whatever is going to happen. We're just, at this point, we're sensitized to everything. This topic, I think, is so important, definitely for young adults because, again, me and Marissa are 30. We finally have gotten to a point where we can kind of plan for a year and stick to the plan,
yes.
And we don't over plan or under plan. We kind of know ourselves a little more now.
We found the balance.
Yeah. Found that balance. We can kind of plan and stick to it for the most part. But going into 2021, man, it's a little shaky.
It's very shaky.
It's a little shaky. So I guess the first part is wondering, you, Marissa. Mm-hmm. I always start with you.
Always.
I always start with you.
Of course.
How was 2020 different than what you planned? We already talked about some of it, but specifically, how was it different?
Well, for work, I was supposed to be going all over the place travel-wise, so I was ready to rack up those hotel points and flyer miles and those sort of things, and I was finally ready to go abroad. So I've never been abroad, just making plans for that. And it just kind of halted. So this was the year that I was supposed to break out and do more. I am pretty introverted, as you know, kind of a homebody. But this was the year that we were supposed to break past all that. And this ended up being the year that I was the most homebody than any other year I've had. So that was just a major difference than what I had intended. And initially, like when COVID-19 cranked out, I was thinking, okay, this might be a month or two. But as time went on, like the plan really, really did change because it went from, maybe I can just bump this trip back a couple of months to actually, this is probably not even going to happen anymore. So what in the world am I supposed to do with my time? So I think that's, for me, that was the biggest shift for 2020. 2020 was supposed to be the year I'm just busting out, getting to traveling, doing it all. And none of that happened. What about you, Courtney? What was 2020?
So, 2020 for me in a nutshell, you ever been to an interview and they say, what is your greatest strength? Or what is your greatest weakness? My answer to both of those questions are 2020. Okay? I feel like I have understood whatever my greatest strength and weaknesses are in 2020. Okay. 2020 is really a split year for me. I had a lot planned. I did want to go abroad. My job was sending me abroad to Germany to present, and it was a huge opportunity, and I was so excited. About 2 weeks before I was supposed to leave, everything shut down. I couldn't travel.
Fell out.
And I'm just like, oh my goodness, so much travel, so much just connecting with people, and it so much that I wanted to do. However, one of the main focuses of 2020 for me was my career development. It was a point where I was going, okay, there needs to be a slight shift in my career development. I really wanted to take this year to kind of focus on that. And that has happened. That's probably the biggest point of this year, is that looking at what has happened within my career. I would definitely say it's been really bland with being at home all the time.
All the time.
It's really different, because even on days where you're off of work, it's not really anything to do. So you're still just kind of home, but 2020 has really been a 50-50 year for me. So I can't say it's been really bad. It has deviated slightly from my plan, and in some points it has hit it, right on. So 50-50 for me. Okay. But so getting to it being so different for you and what you plan, how does that change the way that you plan for 2021?
So 2021, as us in 2020, my plans were kind of going abroad and doing, if you will, external things. So 2021, I'm still going to try and put that out there with the hope that things will return to the normal before COVID. But I think I will also ramp up the personal plans that I have, like personal growth. Whether it be, exercising. I've started exercising more. You've noticed that. Exercise plans. I do editing, maybe more books. I will try to edit, just personal goals, if you will. Of course, we can't really go many places and have to cancel vacation. So that means saving money. So working on paying down student loan debt and other personal goals, as opposed to just some of the external stuff, focusing on the personal piece. So that's one, but also, I'm very much a planner, that we're both planners. Now we got that even. But I think as well, I can kind of practice some of my improvising skills, because if nothing else, the world had to improvise this year. So just kind of, making those better, because I know 2021 won't completely be exactly what I'm thinking it's going to be. So I will have to improvise to some effect. But work on those skills, but also work on some of the personal goals, because I didn't quite have as many planned for 2020. But now, after going through most of 2020, kind of in solitude and in quarantine, I in 2021 will add more of that to my list. That way, if things don't quite go the way I was thinking, I at least have some tangible plans for the year.
Okay, so that's good. Definitely, when it comes to me and planning for 2021, so like I said, 2020 has been a 50-50 year. And so there's been about 50% of what I planned that just did not materialize at all. Just didn't happen at all. But then there's about a good 50% that I was still able to do within the pandemic. So my thought going into 2020 is, maybe I should really hone in on those things that worked during the pandemic. I would even think that as a point of advice for people, well, did everything fall apart, or were some things actually able to materialize? Did some things actually work? And maybe focusing on those things that did work in the pandemic. Definitely, it's a bit different, because I am a person that likes to be in person. I like to go to events in person. I like to have in-person meetings with people. I'm just a very in-person type of person. Okay.
Yes.
And so virtual is very interesting. And if we never have to have another Zoom call when this is over, I will totally be okay. It is just not for me, you know,
Yes.
like, so definitely being able to kind of transform, you know, myself in the way that maybe I do business, and even what I have planned, to being able to still hit those goals and be able to still stick to the plan, but it's all kind of, you know, going to be virtual now. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to for me. But definitely for 2021, it's just to take those things that worked in 2020 and just amplify them more in 2021. I think definitely the list of things that I have planned, we might have to move some things around to a future year, because it's just not going to happen next year, you know. So definitely one thing you mentioned was improvising, which is like, whoa, because, you know, people who are planners aren't typically improvisers as well. It's most of the time you're one or the other. You do have some people that can do a fair share of both, but most people who are hardcore planners, they don't improvise, and most people that are hardcore improvisers, they don't plan. How do you think what do you think that meant for people in 2020? Your planners versus your improvisers.
Well, I think the planners had to learn how to improvise, right? The sink or swim. So I think even when looking at businesses, looking at churches, different organizations, they started improvising, if you will, and locations maybe they didn't used to do carry out a delivery. Now they do carry out a delivery. And businesses that didn't used to do virtual things, now they're more virtual. Or even, you know, some of the funeral homes, now they're coming up with ways to do virtual funeral services. And I think as far as planners, it pretty much made you improvise. Now for improvisers, maybe this was the ideal year, because, you know, if you fly by the seat of your pants, then this is it. This is, you know, this was the year for that. So maybe it wasn't as stressful for some of the improvisers. So maybe the planners can learn a little bit from the improvisers. But I do think planning is required either way. So there's a, like you said, a 50-50. There's a plan for, well, if things get better, but also a plan for if things don't get better. So
and I wonder, you know, with that, if you can plan to improvise. I know that sounds kind of weird,
I
like
mean, I was
planning
thinking that.
planning to improvise, but it's almost like, you know, you have to put a plan on paper, because that's the thing to do. You really want to put a thorough plan together, but you also want to have a backup plan, which is kind of improvising. You know,
Right.
improvising the best that you can towards your goal.
Right.
You know, not just out here doing anything.
Right.
But, you know, improvising to an extent.
Right.
And being okay with that.
I think that's where I would be. Like, the plan to improvise wouldn't be particularly coming up with an improvised plan, but it would more so be in my head like, okay, if I have to improvise, I'm not going to stress out about it, because I already knew I had to plan to improvise, if you will. So for me, it would be more so a mental health piece, knowing that, oh, I might have to improvise. So let me just plan a plan and then plan to improvise.
Yeah. I think that's good. Definitely for those planners out there that nothing happened, nothing materialized the way that they wanted it to. Definitely giving them some hope that it's okay. You know, I think with this pandemic, sometimes we are a little hard on ourselves about what we should have accomplished, or, you know, what our goals are, or maybe the fact that we fell a little behind in our goals, or that sort of thing. It's something that's very new for people. And so, you know, definitely my word of advice and encouragement to those people who are heavy planners, where this year just really kind of fell off, is just to be okay. Just to know that, you know, hey, maybe this is an area that needed to be exposed. You know, I think 2020 has taught people a lot of things as well.
Exposed a whole lot.
It exposed a lot. And I think that maybe this is an area for those people who are heavy planners. Maybe it exposes an area that they can work on. For those people that are improvisers, yeah, this might really have been a year.
Yes.
But rest assured, the improvisers are going to have to learn how to plan as well.
Exactly.
So I think that it's a definitely having that balance of both. And so with that, I guess, what is your kind of final advice? What would be your guidance? What rule are you going to follow when it comes to planning for 2021?
I think first and foremost, just taking a step back and congratulating myself on the fact that I've made it through 2020, right? 2020 through so many things. And even though I wasn't prepared for it, and I would say a lot of the world isn't prepared for it, we adapted and we changed and we improvised and we've made it so far. So I think first congratulating ourselves on that. And then that kind of takes away some of the anxiety going into 2021 because it was like, well, we went into 2020 blindsided, but we made it through 2020. So that means that we can make it through 2021. But I also think just, the guidance and advice would be what we said earlier. Make a plan. It's always good to have a plan, but also, you might want to make a backup plan or be ready to improvise. As I say, have a plan G. So you just go down the list, A, B, C, D, E. Plan G, have a plan G. So which might just be
Improvising.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's good. I definitely think one thing you mentioned earlier was this year you had some plans in place and then everything kind of fell through. And so you just started to really work on self and self-care and that sort of thing. And I actually have seen that a lot. I feel like in 2020, there's been so many people talking about self-care and mental health. And I think that that's really good. But I think what that means is that when it comes to planning for a year, is having a full plan, not just planning for a career, but also being able to touch many different areas. So you could plan for your career or your, as well as educational goals, as well as self, things that you want to work on within yourself, maybe within your family. If you have children, things that you would like to do with your children, home goals, like this is definitely the time if you want to flip a house or if you want to redo that bathroom, baby, this is the time to do it. So maybe having a full plan that doesn't just focus on one thing, but maybe focus on many different things. So in the event that something like this happens, or in the event that you have to scrap a plan or move it to some time later, you can still be able to get something done and progress in areas. I think that is where it kind of took the oxygen out of a lot of people when this pandemic really hit. And it wasn't really when it hit, it was really when it sunk home for a lot of people that we were going to be here for a while. I think that's where people started to kind of get into depressed mode because they're
despair,
like, oh my gosh, this is not going to happen.
And you can't really see the way out.
You're right. You don't really know what's going to happen. So if you can come up with a complete plan just to work on many, many, many different things, and maybe, sometimes we have plans that are just a year, things we want to focus on for the year. Maybe we shouldn't look at yearly plans. Maybe we should just have a plan that we can focus on.
And it could be a couple of years.
And it could take a couple of years. I think maybe sometimes even having it, done in a year adds a lot more pressure to go into a year saying this year I want to focus on this, and this. And then you get into a pandemic year like this year and you go, oh gosh, I wasn't able to work on anything. And so you have some people that were able to say, I'm not able to work on these things, and we figure something else out. And you have some people that went into straight panic mode.
Yes.
And wrote nothing down on that sheet of paper. They're still in panic mode right now. Trying to figure out what in the world is going on. So I definitely would encourage people, don't be so hard on yourself. And, work, even if it's small progress, is still progress.
It is.
Small progress, little bits of progress is still progress. And the fact that you still have that goal and you still want to hit that goal is monumental. Some people have just totally given up. They're nah, don't forget it. I'm not even going to do that no more.
Right. 2020 is over.
2020 is over. It's just, everything happened. Kobe done passed away, Black Panther gone, everything is just totally, just a lot has happened this year. So definitely want to keep that word of advice out there to everyone. And so, definitely we are interested in hearing some feedback from people. What did 2020 look like for you? If you have a horror story, love to read it. If you have a, miracle, would love to read it. Yeah. Definitely share with us what did your 2020 look like, and what does that mean for 2021? Have you put plans together? Are you saying ditch the plan, let me just go into 2021 and find my way around? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just go in like I'm going to the mall. I just got some money in my pocket, and we're gonna see what I walk out with. You know, like, is that what 2020 is for you? Do you have a plan? You know, are you totally depressed from this year and just don't even know? You know, I saw this meme that said, in big bold, it said 2021, and somebody commented and said, let me see the trailer first. And I laughed so hard at that. Some people are like, wait a minute, I have no hope in 2021. And some people really have a lot of hope in it. So we're just really interested in getting your feedback as to what happened this year for you. Was it okay? Was it bad? And how did you adjust to what happened this year? How did you adjust to that? How were you going to take that and make it for the better in 2021? And maybe even how are you going to use that to help somebody else? I think of those that are younger, those that are in college, those are in, you know, elementary school, middle school, those that are growing up through this pandemic. You know, how do you teach them so that if for some reason, you know, this next generation has to endure something like this, they're prepared? Because we weren't.
We weren't. But I think, too, they learned through some of the improvising with classes becoming virtual, even in elementary school, and teachers kind of having to teach online. Now, probably wasn't the smoothest transition, but, you know, it was something that they had to learn. Now, I really think the parents got the bigger brunt of the hit.
Oh, absolutely.
With the kids at home all the time.
Y'all okay out there, fam?
Yes.
I hope the parents, if you got kids out there.
A moment of silence for y'all.
Yeah, we keep y'all in our prayers at night because we know.
But yeah, I think so. Some of the youth are kind of learning through some of those changes, even with colleges doing things virtually. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, definitely, yes. We want to hear your feedback. We want to throw this plug in here about the Twin series that is coming up in 2021. We are still planning to have this Twin series in 2021.
Yes, if nothing else,
we got to have this Twin series. So definitely continue to send us your questions or, you know, anything that you want to know when it comes to twins.
Yes.
When it comes to identical twins, we definitely want to know. We're definitely going to hit these topics. We're going to have some special guests.
We will.
We will definitely have some special guests. So if there's any questions you've ever wanted to ask a mother of twins, a father of twins, a sibling of twins, friends of twins, definitely let us know, because we're going to have some special guests in our twin series. So with that, we are going to come to the end of our episode. We want to wish everybody a fantastic Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Make sure that you definitely, if you go home and see family, that you, you know, just take that time to really, you know, hug up on your family and just fellowship with them.
Yes.
Definitely for those who aren't going to see family, you know, hey, have a good virtual Thanksgiving. This might be a virtual Thanksgiving type of deal.
It just might be.
But all in all, just make sure you stay safe.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest thing. Make sure you stay safe. Make sure you wear your mask. Remember, if you have any feedback, if you want to submit, that you want to submit.
There we go. You want to submit.
There we go. The word
any
is that.
Feedback if you want to submit. That's the Courtney grammar.
Stop it. That you want to submit. The email is twintheorypodcasters with an S @gmail.com. Yep. We also have a YouTube channel. If you would like to subscribe to the YouTube channel, we are on all of the major podcast platforms now. And definitely we're looking to link up with you and to stay in contact with you. And we want to wish you a very, very happy
Thanksgiving, y'all.
All right. Take care. Remember to wear your mask. The surge is going up. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Stay inside. Social distance. And